It's my favorite time of year. I love the fresh start energy that comes with a brand new year. I love being able to set up my new planners and daydream about the future and what is possible in the new year. And I also love the process of reflecting back on the previous year and seeing what's not working and how can I shift it, because every time I do this process, things get a little better and a little better, and my life gets better and I achieve more goals. And I love that planners can do this for us. I am definitely a multiple planner person. So if you're new here, welcome to the Heart Breathings corner of the internet. You're going to love it here. I've got lots of fun planner setups. And today what we're going to do is we're going to look at my planner lineup for 2025. And I'm making what I feel personally is a massive change, like a radical change for my planners in 2025. So we're going to talk through how I made that shift and why I made that shift. And then I'm going to be setting up these planners over the next few weeks here on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and otherwise grab a drink. We're going to be here for a little bit. Grab your planners, settle in, and let's talk 2025 planner lineup. Okay, you guys, let's dive into my 2025 planner lineup. But before we start going over the actual planners, there's a couple things I want to say about how things are shifting this year. So first things first, we always have new faces, new subscribers during planner season. So if you are new here, welcome to the Heart Breathings family. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we're going to talk planners all month and productivity and making your goals come true. So come join us. But I wanted to give you a little background on me and what I'm planning for. So my name is Sarra Cannon. I have two sides to my business. One side is that I'm an author. I have 30 books published. My 30th book, yay, just came out in October, and I want to publish more in 2025. But that side of my business, I'm an indie author, meaning I run my own publishing company. I do everything myself. So I have a Facebook group, a second YouTube channel, an Instagram newsletter. It's its own business over here. Then I also have this YouTube channel. So I've got Heart Breathings, where I teach courses, I speak at events. I have a planner that I've created that I sell on Etsy. So I have an Etsy shop. And so I have two different sides of my business, and they do kind of coincide well together. But I have a lot of planning to do because I've got two social media sets and I've got a lot of content that I create. So I want to make sure that I am planning that as efficiently as possible. So that's one goal. I'm also a mom of two. So I have a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old. And the older they get, the more time we need for them. Baseball practice, soccer practice, school events, just all the things. And I traveled a lot in 2024, a lot of speaking engagements. Almost every month I had something, and I think it was really hard on them. So I'm cutting back in 2025, and I want my planners to help serve me in being as efficient with my time as possible so I can spend more time with my kids. We also have chickens. We have a few acres of land that I want to garden more on. I want to do more with my house. So I have some home and admin kind of goals that go along with that. So that's kind of the three facets of my life and business. I also do a lot of journaling, and I spend a lot of time learning, and I want to read more and fill my own creative well and do more learning and courses and things like that for my own personal growth and development in 2025. So when I think about what planners I'm using, one of the things I sat down to do is really just write out what are the things that I need my planners to support me in, like what are the things that I actually need to plan, and then what planners can I use to support that goal as efficiently as possible. Now, with that little bit of background, the way that I have done my planning in the past is I have had different planners for different aspects of my brainstorming and my content. So I have a daily planner. Then I also have one planner, this chunky planner, that is a Frankenplanner. Basically, it's a combination of lots of different planners. If you like seeing that kind of process, I will be setting up a massive Frankenplanner coming up probably next week. And then also I have a video of me setting this one up that I'll link for you down below if you want to watch it. And then I have a separate planner that's sitting over here for Heart Breathing. So this is my Sarra Cannon author brand. I have a different planner for Heart Breathings where I plan my social media. And I've gotten to a point where I'm using so many different planners that it almost has become not just a time sink, but a creative time sink. And what I've started to realize in a way that actually makes me very sad is that if I want to prioritize not only my family time, but my efficiency in 2025, but also refilling my creative well instead of expending my creative energy, I'm going to have to let go of some of my planners. And it makes me sad to not be in as many planners because I'm still going to be a multiple planner person. You're still going to see a lot here today, but it's hard to change your ways and your strategy. And I like using lots of different things, but I think what I'm going to do is have my one main planner for all of my social media, all of my goals. And I'll tell you what that's going to be in just a second. And then I will supplement using notebooks. And we do a notebook challenge here every month, usually in the first week or so of every month, where I talk about how I'm using different notebooks. And I will just use those notebooks on a case-by-case basis without having a daily or weekly planner in multiple planners that I have to keep up with. And I think that will not only reduce the amount of time I'm spending planning, but also reduce the amount of creative energy I'm expending in my planning. So that's the whole setup. Now let's get into what planners I was using this year versus what I'm gonna do next year. So one of the first things that I did, like I said, was made a list of like, what are all the things I want and need to plan in 2025, especially here at the beginning of the year. And I started thinking, if I want to be as efficient as possible, how can I combine as many of these into one planner as possible? Now, in previous years, my main goal setting planner and everything has either been an A5 like this with a bunch of printable inserts, or this past year I used a Happy Planner size. This is a classic size in a no-teak cover, and I love it. I enjoy the flexibility of this system, but there's one main reason why I want to change this up in 2025, and that is the footprint. So in order to use a planner like this, unless I'm taking the pages out, I have to have a large part of my desk or bed or wherever I'm planning is taken up by my planner. And it's just starting to feel less and less efficient for where I am right now in my life. And so I'm going to shift things a little bit. The other thing is, one of the things I have loved for a long time that I've done on this channel a lot is changing the decoration of my setup, because it's so easy when you have either an A5 binder, you've got all the dashboards you can change, you've got images you can change, you've got inserts you can change, you've got ephemera over here. I love this, but this is a huge creative output for me. It takes me an hour or two to put this together every single month, and it is an expenditure of creative energy. And I just feel like I'm at a point just for at least for the first half of 2025 where I want to refill my creative well as much as possible rather than expending my creative energy on things like this, and use all my creative energy on my writing. Will it work? I don't know. I reserve the right to change my mind. I might get into February and be like, nope, we're going back into a Happy Planner. I don't know. I'm still going to use a Happy Planner setup, but I'll be using it more for a notebook for a project and not for a daily planner. Now, my main goal setting planner, when I think about daily goals, tasks, and time tracking, which is kind of my main actual planning planner, is my HB90 planner. So this is a quarterly goal setting planner, and there is a yearly version of it. So when I'm actually setting my goals for the new year, I know this is going to have some glare to it, but I use my Samsung tablet for this, and I just plan my actual quarters on the tablet. So I will do all my goal setting planning, my vision boards, everything else here in the planner digitally. I'm still going to do that. That will still be my main quarterly planner. But for my daily, weekly tasks, what I've been using is a printable in this Happy Planner size all year. So my planner has a weekly dashboard where I set 3 goals a quarter. So this is Sarra Cannon writing goal. This is my heart breathings goal. This is my personal admin goal, where every week I sit down probably for about an hour and a half every week. And I think through what are all the tasks I want to do for this goal, all the tasks I want to get done for this goal. And I think of it in terms of what needs to get done. Then I estimate how long it's going to take and compare that to how much time I actually have. Usually I'll have 60 hours worth of work on my plate, and I have to mark some things off and get more realistic. Then the next page is a way to take all of these tasks and plan them out and say, here's when I'm going to get all that stuff done. Back when I used to use only an Erin Condren planner or something that only had a weekly page at the time, What would happen though is I'd get to Wednesday and I'm already so far behind. I've still got stuff from Monday that needs to get done on Thursday. And so when I created my own planner, I started creating daily pages in addition. So in this planner, you have a weekly dashboard where you're looking at your time and your tasks for the week. Then you schedule out when you're going to do all that stuff in an ideal way. But then you still have the daily page so that if something doesn't get done on Monday, you can still migrate that task to the next day. And you can see that a lot of the daily pages that I have here are not used. And so then it's like, okay, when I started looking at what's working and what's not working, it's like, why am I not relying on this daily page? And why am I more often than not just taking out a scratch piece of paper or a tab, like a little note tab, and just scribbling down everything that has to get done instead of using these planner pages? And the answer is, like I said, the footprint that this has on my desk and the fact that throughout my day, I might be working in different parts of my house. And it's difficult to take this big and heavy of a planner out with me to a Panera or to move it upstairs if I'm going to hang out with the kids for a little bit. It just gets too cumbersome and it takes up too much space on my desk. So I got to make a change. It works. It worked for me this year for most of the year, but sometimes what's working, we need to shift it up. So this is one of the big shifts that I'm going to be making. So what am I going to do instead? Let's talk a little bit more about what else has been part of my system. Also, look at this beautiful, I bought this Notique cover. Both of these are Notique covers and they're so beautiful. Both of these are from the Imperfect line and I cannot find an imperfection on them. So I think that she has very high standards of quality control. So love them. But as part of my Sunday weekly planning, not only has my system been to fill out all of those pages, which takes about an hour and a half to decorate them and really think through everything I'm doing. But then I would take an additional 30 minutes to an hour to pull out my Sarra Cannon planner and do some journaling or thinking through what do I have going on this brand? When am I going live? When am I going to post to Facebook? What are my social media platforms going to be? And part of how I had planned this was you've got the monthly layout that only includes the Sarra Cannon stuff, and then lots of notes taking and plans. And then, so it's kind of like a hybrid notebook planner. But then I also had included, if I can find the sheets correctly, compact vertical. So this is one of the newer layouts from Erin Condren this year for 2025. And it is a 7x9 compact vertical. So you just have these vertical sort of lined sections, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with an extra box over here. And my intention for this was to take everything that I had been wanting to plan for my social media and plan out my Facebook posts, my Instagram posts, and everything here in this section of the planner. But more often than not, it was just taking me too much time, too much decision making, too much time, too much need to use stickers and pour my creativity into it. And so I only use this about half of the year this is just 6 months that I've been trying this out. So probably only about half of the time did I actually fill those pages out. And so again, looking at what's working and what's not working, I think I can use this more efficiently and I need a different setup. But what definitely worked was having a lot of note pages that I could, like you can see some of the times when I tried a vertical layout, I did a better job of saying, okay, this day I need to do my fourth wall merch setup and all of this. Now, the question that I started asking myself when I'm thinking about what's working, what's not working is, do I actually need a separate vertical layout to say that I'm doing these tasks when I already have a lot of these tasks in my HB90 planner? My purpose behind doing it is because it compartmentalizes my brain so that I don't get overwhelmed by how much stuff I have to plan, because I can just say when I'm brainstorming what's happening for my Sarra Cannon social medias, that's all I have to think about when I fill out this form or this planner layout. But then I was also taking my Heart Breathings planner. So this is an Erin Condren Frankenplanner as well. And if you don't know what I mean by Frankenplanner, I just mean I literally take the coil off, pull all the pages out, and then take the guts of the planners and put them together in my own custom configuration, usually combining multiple planners and multiple notebooks into one. So this is a teacher lesson planner with extra note pages and some extra layouts. And I used this teacher vertical layout. Some months I used it better than others. So here's an example of a week or two when I really used it well. And so this has Monday through Sunday across the top. And then on the sides, I labeled it, this is just for heart breathings, YouTube, newsletter, Instagram, Facebook, coursework, and admin. So these are all the different aspects of my heart breathings content creation. And this was helpful. I used Planner Kate black and white stickers to say, okay, here's where I'm recording this video. Here's when I'm going to record this video. This is when the video is coming out on YouTube. I used dot markers in different color codes to indicate what was going up on Instagram, what reels I needed to create, what I was going to post in my Facebook group, what was going out for my newsletter. This layout was very helpful for that. But the burden, and like I said, sometimes in your life you have more time to spend on your planners, and I have in the past. But the burden for me became where I've got to fill out all my Sarra Cannon stuff on this layout and use different stickers to make it look pretty. I know you don't have to do that, but I was doing it. Then I've got a color code to keep up with on this planner. Then I've got the HB90 planner as well. And it just wasn't, it just is too much. It's too much to keep up with for where I am in my life. And I'm sacrificing other pieces of my life to get here. And like I said, I'm nervous to talk about it because I know it might end up in March where I'm like, that didn't work. I'm trying something different. But, you know, we're always a work in progress. We're always evolving. So I am taking basically these 3 planners and merging them into one. But when I think about it, I don't want to move it into a Happy Planner disc system, and I don't want to move it into an A5 binder because I don't want it to have to be this big on my desk. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Frankenplan one single Erin Condren coil with my HB90 system, the compact vertical layout from the Erin Condren Evolve Planner. So here's the January pages. It's so beautiful. I'm very excited for using this planner again. So you have the compact vertical pages, and I'm only going to set it up for 3 months. And I think it's still going to be this chunky because it's going to have lots of stuff in it. I haven't fully decided everything that's going to go into this Frankenplanner, but I will be setting it up here on YouTube and I will share that system with you. But I know for sure I'm going to use the compact vertical, but I'm going to use it in a way that is a little different from the way that it's set up. So again, I'll share that with you later. But the compact vertical pages is going to be where I am going to keep track of everything I need to create on a daily basis. So let's say on Monday, I need to create recording a video, create 2 reels for my social media and 3 Facebook posts. I'm going to color code that on here with those dot markers, and I'm not going to use a lot of stickers. I'm just going to use those color codes, but I'm also going to be splitting this in probably like into thirds, where it'll be like 2/3 is the to-do list, and then over here is going to be kind of like a checklist of some other stuff. I'll share that whole setup with you, but I'm still kind of working through the system. It's like, how are you going to do this with your HB90 planner? Y'all, I just went on to Amazon and I bought a coil punch. So it will be a punch that will punch this level of coil. So in a way, I'm simplifying my system into one thing so that I can just turn it over, and this takes up a lot less room. It's much more portable. It will still be heavy, but it will be easier to sit on my lap, to take into bed with me, to move around the house, and it takes up less space on my desk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down my own favorite paper, the same paper that I use in this planner, to Erin Condren 7x9 size. I'm going to punch it, and then I'm going to coil it in with the Erin Condren planners. It's going to kind of be my first ever printed coil HB90 planner prototype, and I will keep you guys updated. It's going to be a lot of work to set up, but I think once it's set up, it's really going to serve me well. So I will still have the weekly dashboard that I showed you in my HB90 planner. So I'll still have these pages, but they'll be cut down to this size. So a little bit smaller than what they are now. So this is printed for Happy Planner. I print it at 82%. So I'm thinking I'll probably print it at more like 79%. And I will cut down the paper and then I will print it onto my Erin Condren size paper. I will punch it and then I will take one of the coils that I have, probably this same coil. My friend Yasmin sent me the coil that she had from her planner, which was very sweet of her. She was like, I know you love this multicolor coil, so I'm gonna send you mine. So I have that in waiting. So I'll probably use that one, and I will combine my HB90 printables with Erin Condren note pages and the compact vertical planner. The other thing that I might add into this, and this might be too much, we're gonna see, is an hourly. So Alexis from Erin Condren recently sent me the hourly layout of the Evolve planner. So it's the same monthly spread, but it has the hourly layout. Now I already, like I told you in here, have used a different set of printables this year to track my time, which is also set up in an hourly layout. Now, was I successful with it? Some weeks more than others. This week, obviously, I didn't use them at all, probably most of October and November, because I was just too busy to keep up with it. But I like having a place where I can, like in one place, tracking what I intend to do, and then in a separate place, like an hourly planner, tracking what I actually did, so that later I can look back and compare my intention to my follow through. And I can also then compare, if I said I was going to spend 4 hours a week working on my social media content this week, did I actually spend 4 hours, or did I spend 3, or did I spend 12? Like, what did I do? And I like to use the dot markers, but then I also have a set of color-coded stickers from Fish and Pig stickers. These are pretty good and they're really small, so they fit pretty well into the small half-hour blocks. I need some little tweezers to be able to show you guys. But they fit nicely here, and it is so helpful at a glance to have a full overview of how I spent my time during the week. But again, the problem here is, even though it's nice to see it and it does help me be more efficient, do I need to track this every single week all the time? Or would it be okay to just track it once and then get a good idea and make adjustments off of that? I haven't fully decided, but it's possible that the hourly and the compact vertical and my daily pages from HB90 will all go into my Frankenplanner. And we're going to see if having everything in one planner, all my social media planning, all my task planning, all of my brainstorming. So it will also have these kinds of just plain note pages that I can use to keep track of things I've learned, keep track of projects that I have going on, plans for promotions and Broken Chapter Society and stuff like that, all in one planner. And then I just have one thing to keep up with, one place to decorate, one place to carry around with me all the time. And I'm not setting up 3 or 4 different planners. And I'm hoping that will allow me to set up my whole week in an hour and a half instead of 3 hours of planning on Sundays and then daily planning that takes, 15, 20 minutes a day. That is my main planner. And I know that is a long explanation, but I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Okay, moving on to kind of the next set of planners. So as it goes with my tasks, I'll do daily goals, tasks, and time tracking in my HB90 planner in a 7x9 binder. I also will do all of my content planning and brainstorming in that same planner. Then Project Phoenix, which I've talked about before, is my project to revamp my backlist. I think I'm going to keep that all digital in Asana. And then a lot of this other stuff I'm going to keep in Notion. And then any kind of life admin, home and family stuff, budget stuff will go into my Hobonichi Weeks. So let's talk about Hobonichi Weeks. Oh my gosh, if you've been around for a while, leave me a comment if you remember how many times I have bought and not fully used Hobonichi Weeks. But this year's the year, right? Like, I cannot even tell you how many people sent me DMs to say, did you see that Hobonichi has a cherry cover? Because I'm obsessed with cherries. My phrase this year was cherry on top. And then they come out with this gorgeous cherry. I did not buy a Hobonichi Weeks in 2024 because I didn't use it, the one I bought in 2023. But we're going to see if I can keep up with this this year. So all of this stuff, life admin, like changing addresses, getting things updated, paying taxes, like that's kind of a business thing and a life admin thing. Home and family plans, like the gardening plans, to-do lists, all of that kind of stuff, even meal planning and tracking my health and fitness. All of this stuff that's kind of like my personal stuff is going to go into this beauty right here. So Hobonichi Weeks is the cherry cover, and I just love the colorful cover. I bought a cover on cover to go into this, and I also have this Kiki K leather wallet. They don't sell these anymore. I bought this I think in 2019 and maybe 2021. I bought it a few years ago, and I've pulled it out, and I'm going to set up the pockets, and I'm going to set this up in here with the cover on cover, and it will live in here. And I'm going to put all of my wallet stuff in here as well, like my credit cards and everything else. And the layout of this planner, if you're not familiar with Hobonichi Weeks, I know a lot of us are, is you have just this backing paper here. It's the same in the front and the back. You have an overview of last year, this upcoming year, and next year, and you've got a place to write important dates. Then you have this great overview of the whole year where you have every single day has a little tiny space that you can track all kinds of things. And it's really interesting to go around here on YouTube and see how other people are using it. Some people use it to track their cycles, their bills, their mood, like lots of things. So I'm still trying to decide how I want to use this. I think this is going to be a spending tracker of how much I'm spending every day versus how much money is coming in. So a budgeting like overview, so I can write the overview of like income versus expenses versus, you know, whatever over here. And then every day, any kind of expenditure, which will just help build my own awareness for it. Right now, I'm kind of do it and don't do it. And I mostly just look at my finances once a month, but I'm going to see if I can do it really quickly in here. May or may not. Got to decide. Then you have December monthly through next December. Actually, I think they do have January, February, March of 2026 are in here as well. So you just have a basic monthly with a little bit of space and checklists on the side and the bottom. And then the weekly pages are this layout where you have horizontal weekly over here, and then basically a blank page on the right. And I didn't even realize it until I started pulling out my planners yesterday to start talking to you about it. But I have bought almost every single planner that I'm going to be using next year, with the exception of the Frankenplanner, has this exact layout with the horizontal lines for each day and a blank page on the right. So you're going to see this a lot. The way that I intend to use this is to separate these out. So the Hobonichi does have some little dots here where you can see this split into thirds, and then there's a heavier line here so you can split this. So I'm going to go onto Pinterest, and I'm going to come here on YouTube, and I'm going to start looking at other people's layouts, and I will be setting this up here on YouTube once I decide exactly how I want to use it. But this is basically going to be something, again, not heavily decorated, though I do have some stickers from Spotted Gum that I had purchased a few years ago and never used, so now I get a chance to use those. But some weeks I don't know that I'll use any decoration at all and just let this be simple, is to just jot down budget. Anytime I spend money when we're out, like I go to the grocery store, I hand them my card, I jot down what I spent. And then also over here to keep track of any to-do list items that are not work related, but family related. Like got to pay for that. Like today we have to go pick up Evie's soccer picture. So that would go in here so that everything is on my like daily carry in my purse. Then in the back you have, this is not a mega, but they do have a mega that has more note pages. But in the back you have a good amount of note pages. And this is something that in the past, when I had a Hobonichi Weeks that I carried in my wallet, I loved to use, like if we're sitting at Cotton Patch and we're having a family dinner and the kids are talking to each other or whatever. and Andrew mentions, oh, I'd really love this for Christmas. I have a list in here for Christmas ideas or gift ideas. I have a list in here of vacation ideas. George and I have a conversation about what we're going to do next week with the garden, or what do we want to plan for. I can keep track of all of this. So it becomes kind of a catch-all for conversations. Then in the back, you have some things like favorites. You have my 100. So I think I'll just jot down what books I'm reading or what movies I'm watching, like any kind of thing I'm consuming, just to have a record of it. And then you have like samples of icons that you might want to draw in your planner, some stuff about noodles. And then you've got a 365 days checkoff sheet. And so I think I'm going to put a tab on this sheet so that I can check off any day that I actually tracked my budget over here in the back. So just some little things. I also might use that 365 checkoff sheet to mark meditations, because something I want to do more of in 2025 is meditation every morning. So maybe it'll be a mood tracker. I don't know, but I'm excited to set up the Hobonichi Weeks and see if it can work for me this year. So that becomes my sort of family life admin. So I'll have one big chunky Frankenplanner for all my work stuff, and then one very small petite daily carry in my purse for all my family stuff. Now, the other things that are less of planners and more of journals, like tracking stuff, is I have a morning routine that has been pretty steady this year, where I like to do a little bit of meditation. I will listen to something uplifting. I will do a little bit of journaling about how I want my day to go and all the things that I'm grateful for. And then I also draw a tarot card for the day. Then in the evening, I do something similar. I have an evening journal that I've been keeping in this Aura Estelle, and I've been using the half year of the B6 Common Planner from Sterling Ink. So for the past 2 years, I've been using the 2 6-month books, and I've been using the vertical. And the way that I use this, I don't really use the sort of planning pages. I'll go over that in a minute. But these quarterly overview pages, I mark what tarot card I pulled for the evening. And then in the monthly, sometimes I'll say like Andrew hit a double or any little thing like that. But I got so busy in November that I didn't keep up with it, sadly. But I did keep up with it for most of the year. Then in the vertical thing, I will put what card I drew, the tarot card, and what it means to me in my life right now, just a little bit of journaling. And then in the back, there's a bunch of journaling pages, and I just use that as my nightly journal. And so it is my already habit that this evening journal, the B6 Common Planner, and the Hobonichi 5-year lay together in my side table, like in the front drawer of my side table. And it's a pretty solid routine that I've been keeping up with for about 5 years now. And this is one of the routines I'm really proud of. I added the morning routine this year, but the evening routine is solid and it's working for me, and I don't really want to change it. So I bought the Hobonichi 5-year in 2020. And I'm very happy to say that I have kept up with this every day for 5 years. And it has been really, really rewarding and fun to look back on, oh, George, 3 years ago we were doing this, or oh my gosh, can you believe 4 years ago we were going through this and now we're over it. It's been nice to put things into perspective, and maybe it will be something my kids look back on later and say, wow, look at what Sarah was going through. Like, look what mom was doing, or gosh, that was the day I took my first step. So I want to keep up with both of these things. So let's talk about my kind of tarot journaling, spiritual journaling path. This year, I used a Writual Planner for my morning journal. So this is a tarot planner, and I bought these Modern Hue tarot stickers. You can see Evie got a hold of these that have some tarot cards on the stickers, and I was able to use those in my journaling. And this planner is fine. Like it's nice. It's fine. There are a few things, like it has some reference stuff, and there are a few things that are really, really nice about it. So every new moon, every full moon, it has a place to put your intentions, your gratitude, a new moon reading. And then it has a weekly spread where you can draw 3 cards for the week and then 1 card per day. But what I don't like about this planner, it's a couple things. One, again, it's so big. So if I want to go, like when I told you I was thinking not just about the type of planner and the layout, but I'm thinking about where I'm using it, I really like to do my morning journaling on my back porch, but carrying my tea and this huge planner that's kind of floppy and the stickers and my tarot cards, it's just too much to carry and it's just too big. The other thing I don't love about it is it has this little space to do your journaling about the card, and then it basically has a to-do list for the day. And I don't need that because I don't use this as my only planner. So what I had started to do on some of the days was just write all the way across the page because I needed that space. And then I started thinking, the other thing that bothers me about this planner is, let me see if I can find one of the sheets. It has these ridiculous dot grid pages in it. Like this dot grid is like an inch apart. The dots are so far apart. Typical bullet journal, this would be like a quarter of this size. And I feel like it makes these pages almost unusable. I wish they were just blank instead of this giant dot grid. It's very weird to me. And so this feels like a waste of pages. The planner feels too big. Then I feel guilty when I don't use every single day. There's just a few reasons why it wasn't perfect for me. Although if you're looking for a tarot journal, you know, this could be good for you. And I know tarot isn't right for everybody, but you know, we all have our own things that we like to use for personal growth. So what I am changing about this morning routine is what journal I'm using in the mornings. So I have purchased a Sterling Ink Common Planner in the N1 size, which is Traveler's Notebook size. I currently have in this beautiful, this is a Kiki K Life is Wonderful cover, Traveler's Notebook cover that someone sent me, one of my subscribers sent me, I believe all the way back in 2021, and I cherish this. So if that was you, thank you again so much for that. I have a little charm from Charming Planner Shop on here, and I've been keeping up for part of the year with some good journaling that I was doing kind of throughout the day. I don't really need a separate journal for this though. So I'm gonna take that notebook out and I'm gonna put this in instead. I have a cover on cover for it, so I'm gonna set this whole thing up with this planner instead. But you're gonna see how this planner is basically set up almost exactly like the Hobonichi Weeks. It's just bigger. So you have an overview of 2025. Then you've got blank pages here, which will be really great if I want to do like a yearly reading or intentions for the year for my spiritual life. Then you've got a goal breakdown where you have someday, 1 year, half year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. I've never used this spread before in my common planner, so I don't know what I'll do with this or if I'll use it. I might just cover it up with images. But if you look, this is a very similar kind of tracker to the one that's in the Hobonichi. It's basically the whole year overview with a spot for each day. It just doesn't have the larger like overview at the top. So again, very similar layout, which I didn't even realize how many of these I had purchased that are the same layouts. Then you have a spread for each quarter where you have priorities, January, February, March, and then you've got January, February, March with those same, this is more like that Hobonichi layout where you've got the box at the top where you can put, so what I typically put here is what card deck I'm using and then what card I drew for the day. And then there's some reflections at the bottom. So I probably will continue to use it. So you've got all 4 quarters. Then you've got the monthly spreads. And again, it starts with December of this year. So it's already going. It goes all the way through the year. I probably will, I don't know, because I have an evening one like this that I put memories or milestones into. I don't know how I'll use this in the morning, maybe to track my mood in the morning or how many hours of sleep I got. So again, some of this, I've got the planners, but I don't have all the systems decided. Then you've got the weekly spreads, and was I right? It's the same thing. So you've got the days in a horizontal lines with a blank page over here. So I think my biggest work for my planner setups for 2025 is to figure out how I'm going to use all these blank pages and how I'm going to set them up. So I've got some decisions to make, but once you get through the weeklies, you have just 365 pages, I believe. It's a lot of pages of just blank notes. So this allows me to not worry about if I used it every day, but it gives me a chance to do more morning pages. So if you've ever read The Artist's Way, it's a book by Julia Cameron where she talks about morning pages and about writing either 3 full pages of text every morning to ignite your creativity and just as like a brain dump, or to write straight for 15 minutes. So I want to do a morning routine that builds on what I've already got going, where I am meditating every morning and I am doing morning pages in this journal. And this is such a better size for me to actually lay on my knee while I'm drinking tea and writing outside. So this will be my morning journal. Then my evening journal, which by the way, I did also purchase some more tarot stickers. These are a little different from those Modern Hue ones. These are from an Etsy shop called Nettie Labs, and they're just the typical Rider-Waite stickers, and I can use these in my morning journal. For my evening journal, I have the same setup. I'm going to use this same Aura Estelle. I'm just going to change the ephemera and the design. I have this plastic cover on cover that I'm hoping will fit. But like I said, this is a 6-month one, so I'm going to see if it fits on the year. So instead of doing 6 month, I bought the full year. And instead of doing vertical, I bought the horizontal. And guess what? It's the same layout. It's just wider. So it's the same horizontal lines with the blank page. And I honestly did not even realize how many versions of this layout I was attracted to for 2025 until I started getting ready for this video. So it's kind of funny. But this common planner is exactly the same as the one I just showed you, except that it's B6 size instead of Traveler's Notebook size. So it will be the same type of setup, but I think that this horizontal layout will serve me better than the vertical, because the vertical layout only allowed me to write like 2 words, and then I always feel like I'm just barely writing it on this little tiny space. So this will give me a chance to really just write it like a journal entry, and then I can do other reflections over here for the week, or I can put pictures or just whatever else I want to do. I bought one of those little Canon Ivy printers, and I think that would be perfect to start putting some memories on to this. So I'll be setting the B6 full year up in the Aura Estelle for my evening journaling. And then I have a new 2025 to 2029 Hobonichi. And this is exactly the same as the previous 5-year. And in my previous 5-year journal, I have this, I think this is a Mina Peronin cover. So I'm probably just going to continue to use this. It's very pretty. Basically, the entirety of the planner is just an overview of all 5 years of the planner. I didn't really do anything with this layout, but I might use one of those dot markers to just mark big milestones or anything I might want to remember or track. But then it's basically just 365 days of this exact setup. You've got one little space for each year. So January 1st, 2025 goes here, 2026, 2027. And what becomes neat is, like, if I look at December 5th, which is today, I can say, oh, I worked all day. I'm so tired. You know, here's what was going on. We signed a big contract today. We went to the model home. It was the full moon. Here's what I'm grateful for. Evie took her first step. And so every day that you, like, especially by the time you get to 2029, you're looking at everything you experienced on that day for the last 5 years, and it's very rewarding. However, what I didn't do was hardly ever use this second page. So I just need to decide again. I feel like every one of these 3 planners, I have to really decide, or 4 planners, what I'm going to do with this blank page. I've seen some people on YouTube extending this out and then using this as some kind of art, like painting or other things. I've also seen people putting pictures and memory keeping things over here. So I don't know. I might just do the same thing I did over here and only use this page and just take some of the pressure off, or I might end up using this second page. If you have a 5-year, let me know what you do with this bonus page. And that's basically the entire planner, is just those pages. And I'm excited to someday have, you know, a whole bunch of these, just 5 whole years of your life, and be able to pass these on to my kids. I just think it's really, really neat. Hopefully there's a whole stack of these yet to come, because hopefully I'll live a long, happy life. All right, we have been here for a while, so I know it's time to kind of wrap things up, but I've been kind of sharing with you the process of why things are changing. So let me know if you enjoyed this format. Another part of what I want to be able to track is family memories, and I've done this for the past few years in an Erin Condren vertical planner, so I'm going to continue on with that tradition. But I have never, to this date, filled up an entire year where I've done every week. So I would love to be able to do that in 2025. So we will see if I can keep up with it. I actually, let me pull this over. I have like stacks of things going on here. I actually purchased this one, which is a Bold Blooms vertical layout. So pretty, in September. And so I have September all the way to the end of 2025 in this one. And I had planned to start my journaling because I had not kept up with it well in 2024. And you can see I did none of it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give this one away. I'll exchange it out for another cover so you don't have pictures of my family on here. But if you would like a chance to win this Bold Blooms, and you've made it this far, go ahead and comment down below with a flower emoji so I know you're entering to win this, and I will ship it anywhere in the world along with some little accessories for Erin Condren. So I'm going to be giving this one away. Another giveaway that I'm going to be doing is I also have a daily duo. So I was meal planning and tracking my eating and fitness in a daily duo this past year. But again, I'm trying to streamline and use less planners. So I have half a year of a Canvas daily duo that I'm also giving away. So if you want to win a Canvas daily duo, then leave a heart emoji down below. If you want to win or enter to win both, leave a heart and a flower and we'll know that you want to enter to win. So I've got the daily duo and the vertical Bold Blooms that I'm giving away. Because instead of using the vertical Bold Blooms, I'm going to be using this awesome Hello Kitty planner from Erin Condren. So it's got the multicolor coil, which was their brand new coil last year, 2023. And it is the cutest planner I've ever seen in my life. So they did have a Hello Kitty planner last year too, but this one's even cuter. So you've got this beautiful vellum sheet. You've got little cloud elements. You've got rainbows, and the colors are just these pastel, beautiful colors. You've got an overview page. You have these cute Hello Kitty and friend details. So some months it's Hello Kitty and you've got those pastel colors on the pages. Some months it's cinnamon roll or cinema roll. Some months it's Kuromi. April it's My Melody. May is Pom Pom Purin, and then June is Pachaco. It's so cute. Like these details are so cute. And then at the end of the planner, you have a few note pages that also have the characters on them. You've got this pretty pink backing sheet with some Hello Kitty stickers and page flags. And then you have a very pretty foiled folder in the back. This planner is adorable. And so this will become my family memory keeper. And this is where I'm going to use all those super pretty stickers that I have from Nikki+3 and Jessica Hearts and Hand Can Plan and just all my favorite sticker shops, Studio Adorkable, Boulder Bond. I've been collecting them for years. And this is where I will use that along with my Canon Ivy printer, and probably will not be able to keep up with it every week. So my plan is to create a system before the year begins for printing out the photos from the week on Sundays, and then once a month sitting down for a couple of hours and watching a movie with the family while I do the planning. I need to create a system for it so that it becomes a priority. But that's my family memory keeping planner. And then the next thing on the list is my plotting plan. So I told you guys I'm an author and I like to plan out and plot out. Actually, I have two things to show you. My stories. And in 2023, I started a B6 Stalogy with just a Lauren Phelps Designs covers on it to start tracking all my writing and brainstorming for my most recent novel, The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. And I ended up using the whole thing and filling it with my notes on this book. And I think, again, this will be something really cool to have as a record of my thoughts and how the story evolved over time, how I created plans for when I was going to be writing, how I talked about the characters and how the story itself evolved. And it was so nice to have a very small planner or notebook that I could write all my plotting plans in. And then I also had some spreads in here that I used for tracking my writing. So this one is completed, but I set up earlier this year a new one in this purple Aura Estelle for my latest book, or my next book, A Mirror of Shadows, which is part of my best-selling series, The Shadow Demon Saga. It's going to be a spinoff. So I set that up. If you're interested in seeing that setup, I will link it for you down below. So I'm going to continue to use this throughout the year for that. Less of a planner. Evie got a hold of some stickers and just started playing. Less of a planner, more of a brainstorming notebook. And then I'm also writing book 12 of my Shadow Demon saga. And I don't know where my sheet went. Oh, here it is. You can see there are other things like Project 48, Project Phoenix, some of the reading and story journal stuff that I've been wanting to track. So that's where this planner will come in and where I will get to use my beautiful Notique covers. I'm actually going to set up for 2025 this pink cover. So I'm going to use probably these black discs that are 1.5 inches. These are from Cloth and Paper, and I'm going to set up new dashboards and everything else. But instead of setting it up seasonally, it's just going to be set up once for the year. And inside this planner, instead of it being a daily planner, this is going to be a project planner for book 12 of my Shadow Demon saga, for my Kickstarter, for my membership, and all of the extra project will all go into this planner. I have it currently set up with some pretty ephemera and some purple discs from Inked United that have dragonflies on it and some different witchy kind of things. I have my Preptober sheets in here that I don't need anymore. I have some vision boards, and then I have my plotting sheets for my characters. So I'm going to be like, this is pretty much full with these 1.25 inch discs. So I'm going to be transferring this into the pink one, and this will become Shadow Demons book 12, all of my audiobook stuff, all of my Project Phoenix stuff, all of my like story reading journal stuff will go into this with bigger expanded discs. So that is my plotting planner, and it's kind of like taking multiple things and putting it into one. So earlier this year in the summer, at Go Wild in March, I met some of the Laurel Denise team. My neighbor is best friends with Laurel Denise, and I have never used a Laurel Denise planner before. And they kindly, very kindly sent me their newer Laurel Denise Portrait Weekly Edition. So a lot of the Laurel Denise planners are shorter, but longer. And they sent me this new version, and I ended up having zero time. I was so busy. I had no time to really review it or get into it. So what I'm going to do, this one goes all the way through June, this is going to become kind of a pre-brainstorming social media planner for my content calendars. So I am going to be daily in the Erin Condren Frankenplanner, but once a month, I'm going to pull out this Laurel Denise planner, and I'm going to use it to get an overview of all the content that I'm going to publish in the month. And then what I love about this planner, which makes it so unique, is you have the habit tracker, you have some little boxes here and a grid page, but then it's like a Dutch door. So you can see at a glance both the monthly and the weekly pages. It's pretty brilliant. The only thing that bothers me a little bit about it is that it's much more thick at the bottom than it is at the top. So I might need to put something in it to make it where it's not weird to write on these, like putting something underneath the back here. I'm not sure, but I think this will be super cool for content planning a month out so that I can get more help from my assistants, and this can be a brainstorming tool and a way to just look a month out. So this isn't the final plan. This is just the overview of what I think is coming, like an eagle eye view. And then you've got the weeklies where you can say, okay, this is the week I need to create this, and I can kind of get ahead a little bit. So what I'm going to do is use this for the rest of the year. And if I'm enjoying it, I'll go back to the July 2024 and just redate these, because you can just white these out and put some stickers in so that I get the most use out of it. So thank you to the Laurel Denise team. I'm so sorry I didn't get a chance to start using it until now, but I will give you guys some good views of this setup. But you can kind of see what I mean, where it's like thick at the bottom but thin at the top, because this is just the monthly pages, but this has all the weeklies. And I don't know if that'll bother me over time. If you use a Laurel Denise, let me know in the comments. Another kind of overview thing that I do have is this A5 monthly that I purchased. It's just a monthly booklet that's meant to be a companion to notebooks from Sterling Ink. And I thought that I might use this also just as a way to track some of my writing throughout the year, but I don't know. I may or may not use this at all. Like I said, originally I didn't know that I was going to be streamlining, and everything kind of has its space, and I don't want to just keep expanding on it. I want to keep it smaller. So we'll see how it goes. The other and final planner, this is not the 2025, this is the 2024, is a gift that comes from my business mentor and mastermind. So I'm in a higher level business mastermind called Accelerate with Amber McHugh. Many of you know I talk about her a lot. She's really changed my life. This is Amber. And so every year as part of that mastermind, she sends us this Fresh Start planner. You can purchase this, so I'll link all this stuff down below. But the entire first part of it is basically a goal setting planner and thinking through what you're going to do in your business for the next year. So I always spend a week or so before the beginning of the year going through this in conjunction with my HB90 plan. And then when we're in our weekly meetings and stuff, I don't tend to use the weeklies because I don't really need them, but we do like a month in review and we talk through what our game plan is for the next month. And so I do use this in conjunction with that group, with that mastermind. So again, this is one that has a very specific purpose. And then we have weekly meetings, which I also have other meetings with people and podcast interviews and things that I'm on. And so another notebook, not a planner, that I use is the Erin Condren Take Note Meeting Notebook. And I got this one with this gorgeous Bold Blooms cover. So this will be my new 2025 meeting notebook. And every spread is just a place to put who was at your meeting and what did you talk about. So I use this at least every week for our mastermind meeting, but then it also spills into other kind of business meetings that I have throughout the year. Okay, so there we have it, coming in maybe at just under an hour for the entire shebang. Another thing that you might have seen in here, like I was talking about, is Project Phoenix and a few other things, like some of my plotting stuff is going to go into Notion and all my learning and courses. So I will be doing some Notion setups and templates coming up later, hopefully before the new year if I get it all set up. So originally I was going to keep all of my Project 48 notes in an Archer and Olive notebook, and I talked about this in one of my notebook challenges. But again, now that I've decided to streamline and spend less creative energy on planners and stickers and things like that, I'm going to be setting that up in Notion in a very easy kind of to use template where I'm going to be tracking my habits and my progress with my personal health and things for Project 48. So I will be setting that up as well. So if you love planner stuff and you like talking about notebooks, be sure that you hit that subscribe button, because we definitely talk about notebooks and planners every single month here. We have such an amazing group of planners. And I know for some people, this does not sound like a streamlined process, but for me, I'm really going to be taking what was maybe like 12 planners and notebooks in 2024 down to maybe 5 or 6 in 2025. And each one has its own very specific use. And I'm, like I said, I reserve the right to change my mind on any of it, but I think this will serve me better. And I'm really excited to set it all up. Part of the key for me is I want to spend this month getting it all set up. If you are a writer and you want to start thinking forward about your 2025, join me this Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern live here on YouTube. We're going to do our annual live stream to plan your writing year in 2025. That will come with a free workbook. So if you're on my newsletter, you're going to get early access to that. If you're not on my newsletter, but you want early access, go ahead and sign up at the link down below. Also, it is time to start planning 2025 in a big way. So my New Year bundle, course bundle, is open now, which includes Your Path Forward, which is my long-term step-by-step domino effect planning course, and HB90, which is my 90-day planning course where you get really detailed about how much time you have and how you're going to achieve your goals. So you can join either one individually or you can join them in a bundle, and all of that information is down below and was sent out to you in email if you're on my list today. So come join us. We already have hundreds of students enrolled in each one, and I cannot wait for December 13th when we get started for all of that stuff. And let me know if your setup is changing for next year. I've got those 2 giveaways for you, which I will choose by next Wednesday. So those will be open for a week. And that's it, you guys. Hour-long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I super love you all. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button and I will see you in my next video. Bye.